Hey folks, today we are looking at preserving these red, ripe tomatoes that are just bursting with summer flavor. Stay tuned to the end of the video. We're going to show you how to store these in olive oil. Hey guys, I've been doing this for years. It is absolutely, without doubt, one of the easiest ways to preserve tomatoes and the most versatile. You're gonna be able to use this in everything from, I like to crumple them up, put them on salads. You can toss them into spaghetti as you're cooking that throughout the year. Just a multitude, variety of ways, and it's so easy. You don't have to cook, you don't have to strain, you don't have to sit over a stove for hours. So let's get started. So one of the absolute easiest ways that I found to preserve these beautiful tomatoes is to actually use a dehydrator. So that's what we're going to take a look at today, is dehydrating tomatoes for a quick and easy preservation of your harvest. And you'll be able to use that in a multitude of ways throughout the year. Stay tuned, grab your coffee, and let's get started. First thing you're going to do is rinse and dry your tomatoes really well. All right, folks, so we have your tomato. It's rinsed, it's mostly dry. It can still be a little damp, no big deal. So we're going to take that, you're going to core the tomato, and this we're just going to take. If you have a compost bin, like we have here, you just toss that in your compost bin. And folks, I'll have links to all the things I talk about in the video description below. I love this, got this past Christmas. This is a countertop stainless steel compost bin. Even the bags are biodegradable, and you throw those right in the compost. So take your cores, put those in your compost bin. And what I like to do is cut our tomatoes in half. You see I have a paper towel here. I have a cutting mat underneath. This just keeps the juice from running off all over to the counter. So now you could, and I've done this, I've tried this before, you could try slicing the tomato across the top to make big long rings. But if you stay tuned to the end, I'll show you why I choose to actually half the tomato. And then see the meaty part here in the center, and we have our gel along the outside. I find if I slice that, not paper thin, but if we slice that into nice thin strips, that's probably between 3/8 to 1/2 inch thick. On the outside, it's thinner on the inside. When that dries, you still get your gel layer and you have your meat on the inside and the outside. So it helps the tomato to stay together a little better. So we'll just take that and we'll slice both halves like that. Guys, if you do not have a dehydrator, I highly recommend investing in one. It's a small investment that pays out. Do all of our herbs throughout the year: basil, rosemary, parsley, onion tops. So you can see now, we're just laying that in the tray. You can see how I was talking, we still have a layer of the meat here along with the gel. That's going to stay together as that dries out. As that dehydrates, rather. So we're just going to continue to cut up all of our tomatoes, and then we'll look at the dehydrator settings. right, so once the dehydrator is full, all of your layers, you're going to take that, and you see you're going to have temperature settings. This is an open country. I'll have links in the description below for Amazon. You have your different temperature levels here that you can control with your knob. I generally put it on about 145, one of the higher settings, because we're dehydrating a lot of juice out of these tomatoes. So you're going to put that on. I usually set it aside in our laundry room so it doesn't heat up the house. It's going to smell excellent, and it will make you hungry as this dehydrates. So we have this full. We're going to take it, plug it in, set it aside. We usually do it overnight, and then we'll come back the next day, and we'll show you what you can expect. All right, so let's take a look after these have been dehydrated overnight. Look at that. Let's see if you can hear how crunchy these are. And folks, they are so rich in flavor. The sweetness is just intensified immensely when you dehydrate these. And as I mentioned, you can take them, crumple them up. I sprinkle them on top of salads. You can add them to stews, your spaghetti sauce when you're cooking it on the stove. But they are absolutely great dehydrated. So once your tomatoes are dehydrated, I like to keep them in two different ways. The first, and probably the way I keep most of them, is just in a Ziploc bag in the freezer. And I do this because in this form, I could take it, crumble it into salads. You can throw them into spaghetti, sauces, stews, soups. And it's just so versatile, whatever you want to do with them. So, Ziploc bag, you no need to write on them because you can see, and just store that, throw it right in your freezer. The second way is to actually make some sun-dried tomatoes in olive oil. And to do that, we're just going to fill up small jar here. See the bigger pieces, you can crumple those. You're going to want to fit as much in here as you can. So we're going to take these and just fill up the jar. And these will actually start soaking up that olive oil and get a little plump. So now before we get too full, we're going to add some minced garlic in here. We're also going to take some dehydrated parsley from our herb garden, as well as some dehydrated basil. So a good pinch of each. And then, see how that's shaping up. Then we're going to take our best olive oil, and a good olive oil should tingle and almost slightly irritate the back of your throat when you taste it on its own. So we're just going to drown that in olive oil, and this will store for a couple weeks in your refrigerator without any problem whatsoever. And as I said, those tomatoes will start plumping up, and they'll soak up all that garlic and basil flavor, so you'll have your sun-dried tomatoes in olive oil.